I'm here with the mayor and others, first here in Prospect, then headed to Jessamine and Fayette counties. The lieutenant governor is in Ashland, Boyd County, will likely be in a couple of other places today because these storms and these tornadoes hit all parts of Kentucky. It was a true destructive weather system that has caused significant damage across the Commonwealth. Because of that, it's going to take some work and some time before we can tell what we qualify for on the FEMA side. Remember, those are two major categories. Those are public assistance, that's damage to state facilities, roads, county, and other publicly owned assets. And then it's what's called individual assistance. Both of them require certain thresholds of damage to get to, and that's why it's so important that everyone, even if you're just filing an insurance claim, take pictures of the damage you have and call in to report it to your county emergency management officials. You may think that you won't need FEMA help, but you reporting your damage in might help us get to the threshold for other people that will need FEMA's help. As we're here today, we have 12 county declarations of emergency. Those are Anderson, Bourbon, Boyd, Clark, Elliott, Fayette, Greenup, Henry, Jefferson, Jessamine, Kenton, and Union. And then we have 7 cities that have declared emergencies. Those are Ashland, Catlettsburg, Flatwoods, Greenup, Louisville and Jefferson County, Mount Vernon and Rockcastle, and Raceland in Greenup. We're down to just over 15,000 power outages, but a whole lot of those are going to come up. And if you're watching the dashboard, please know they're going to go up and down. Sometimes they have to turn off the power to an area to come in and repair it for an adjacent area. Some good news further east in the state, we lost cell phone coverage. We believe that happened because we had 2 areas of the state where we had major power lines down over interstates. That was on I-75 by mile marker 104. That's just south of Lexington, pretty near the 8th and Spoonsboro exit. Then the other one was in Greenup County on I-64. In clearing that, they may have hit an AT&T line that has now been repaired and cell phone service restored. I want to thank AT&T and other cell phone companies for getting different mobile units out that established communications that was so needed during that time. I want to thank all of our local first responders around the state. They've done an incredible job. That includes this fire department and everyone who works with them. I was proud that we had 14 National Guardsmen from our air unit. That's the best National Guard in the country. They actually won that award. That's not just what I believe, but they were here helping them clear roads last night through 2 a.m. Certainly Louisville Gas and Electric, Anchorage, Middletown fire departments worked through the night for that. We're grateful. They brought to bear so many bodies and equipment. And listen, I've now seen a lot of tornadoes. And what I see here was an intense cleanup right afterwards through the night. Louisville ought to be really proud of everybody here who was on site and working. And what I'm already seeing is this is going to be a cleanup and a repair that's going to move much faster than some other ones that we've seen. KSP across the state responded to about 68 calls. Those are in addition to all of local law enforcement. We thank all of them as well as our telecommunicators who take those calls in. It's important as we move through the next really day or so where we'll have a little bit more weather, but nothing damaging, that you do not call 911 to figure out if roads are open or to get weather updates. Go online and get those, or call the right places. Leave 911 in case we have any other injuries that come out of this. We got a lot of people working with heavy equipment, chainsaws, and the rest. Let's make sure those lines are open. And finally, natural disasters also cause mental health issues and damages. This is really traumatic. If you've been through it, if you've lost your home, if your backyard looks like some that we've seen, if you had to sit there praying while a tornado came through, we're blessed that you're here, but we understand that mental health is real, and so please reach out if you need that help. The 988 crisis hotline is open and available with people who are willing to talk you through it. Final thing is, in the coming days, our Department of Insurance will be working with people who have complaints. If you're not treated right by your insurance company, please call them. A lot of what we've seen today will be covered based on past events, and it appears we already have adjusters and others coming out. So with that, I'll turn it over to Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. Listen, I've been really proud of his leadership during this and how quickly all of these resources were on site helping people. And it's amazing with everything Jefferson County got hit with, that everybody in this county is still with us and that we have no major injuries to its population. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Governor. Thank you very much, Governor, and thanks to you and your entire team. Since we knew these storms were coming, there's been great collaboration between the city of Louisville and Governor Beshear's administration and everything that we have needed, including right off the bat, some forestry teams getting here last night to start working with Public Works, neighbors, and anyone that was willing to help to start the cleanup process. And really just want to give some thanks in addition to what the information we provided this morning. Thanks to all of the folks that are out working hard today to help people get their life back in order, to help clean up with the property damage that we're seeing out there very significantly here in the Prospect neighborhood. A lot of people worked hard through the night to get people started towards this recovery, to clear streets, to begin the process of getting power back on. And I just want to say a giant thanks to them. As the governor mentioned, we truly see the best in individuals following these extreme weather events and when we have to deal with disasters. We saw last night neighbors helping neighbors. We saw more evidence of that today, but we also saw great professionals out there that are helping people restore their homes, restore their property. I do want to add that the streets are very crowded out here in Prospect. As I mentioned this morning, do not come out here to look. You can get the news, you can see the pictures online via the media. We have law enforcement out, but the streets are crowded with people who are helping restore property and get the streets back open, to get streets out of the road and help people with their individual property. So there's no reason to come out here if you don't need to. And I want to give a special thanks to the Prospect Police Department for their being out in the presence today. We saw them all throughout the Prospect neighborhood. And finally, also what the governor said, just a thanks. This is a great example of collaboration. There are so many different organizations involved in this, from the city government to the state, LG&E, to Anchorage Middletown Fire Department, National Weather Service, and so many others working together in partnership to help prevent, give words so that people can stay safe, and then following these events to respond. And so I do want to just really thank every public agency that's been involved with that, and thank the hardworking men and women at LG&E for restoring power as quickly as they have. We've seen improvement just throughout the day already, and I know that will continue. One of those great partners throughout this whole effort has been the Anchorage and Middletown Fire Department. And so next I'm going to turn it over to their chief, Chief Grudy, who he and his team have done an amazing job working with us. I've done a fantastic job of literally going door by door, identifying every property that was in the path of the storm and marking it for what level of damage it has secured so that we can continue to track and provide the resources that these residents need. So let me turn it over to Chief Grudy. Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Very quickly, I would just like to thank Governor Beshear and his staff, Mayor Greenberg and his staff, and Representative Fleming for actually coming out and visiting with us. That is actually very important to us, and we actually truly appreciate it. And once again, I'd like to thank our staff for working so hard. They were up most of the night last night, and then we have shift changes. And obviously, we are still not yet done today. We are still doing our damage assessments. We are actually considerably farther along than where we were last night, but there's still much work to do. And like I said, I want to thank all of you for, for being here and supporting us. And then we have also all kinds of support. We have various partners, LG&E, the police departments. We have various people coming in, SAW teams that have just come in here to help us. So obviously, we appreciate all their help as well. I mean, we have wanted for nothing during this episode. So once again, thank you for being here. And like I said, our work is not yet done. So thank you.
Representative Fleming?
Yep. Thank you. I just want to just give you an example of when it comes to crisis and situation. This is a state and local cooperative and collaborative approach. This has been a seamless operation in terms of reacting very quickly to get to the individual's needs and what they're faced with. And so I want to especially thank the governor and the mayor for going out and go through this process of doing a wonderful job in terms of coordinating and helping out and making sure we get the resources out there to people. I was talking to the mayor of Prospect last night, and he already had his police department on the ground with about an hour to a half hour after the tornado went through. So that's a kind of local response that we come to be used to and deeply, deeply appreciate. So once again, I want to thank the mayor and the governor for having a really quick response and making sure that people's needs are met. So thank you.
And our last thanks for opening it up for questions is actually to you all, the news media, especially all our meteorologists who worked really hard over the past 48 hours, not only saw the system coming in, talked about the two different parts of the system and what would create the instability that we ended up seeing. That type of information and constantly getting it out there, along with people being more weather aware than they've been in a while, undoubtedly saved lives. So to all those in the newsroom on the weather and out here helping to make sure people see how destructive this can be, thank you all, and let's continue to make sure people understand how dangerous these situations can be. No one should get numb because of how many that we've seen. Each and every time we can give people that type of information, it means they're still here with us. So with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Governor, after hearing the seriousness of the forecast and knowing how heavily populated this area is, taking direct hit, how relieved are you that we're only talking about property loss today?
Oh, I'm extremely relieved that we're only talking about property loss. When you have a tornado come through something as densely populated as Prospect and you don't even have any significant injuries, that's a blessing. Now, I get that it's hard if your house has been destroyed to call it a blessing, but the worst hit house we saw today with no roof, I got to talk to the owner and his family on the way out, and he was smiling. And I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, we're all here and we're all alive. We can fix the house." He said, "My house got hit by a tornado and all of my family is alive." That's pretty special. That's how we count our blessings and we remember that God's good even when it's tough.
Mayor, this morning you mentioned there's a risk for scammers possibly.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if anyone had heard of that happening at all yet today.
The good news is so far we have no reports of any of that happening. I do hope that people continue to heed the warnings, and if you feel like you're being pressured into making a quick decision, if they don't let you get other estimates, if they're asking for cash up front, please take a step back, call a friend, call another professional, get a second estimate. Go through your insurance company. As the governor was talking about, the first call people with property damage should be making is to their insurance company, assuming that nobody is hurt, and ask them for guidance on the next steps so that you can get the restoration of your property covered by insurance. And as the governor mentioned, if you don't feel like your insurance company is being responsive, please contact the state's Department of Insurance and they will help you. But we're pleased, so far we have no information that that's out there. And from what we can tell today, it's been folks that have been appropriately hired that are hard at work already restoring people's property.
And Governor, I mean, today is significant, the 50th anniversary
Yeah.
of the 74 tornado outbreak, and seeing this damage, how does that kind of make you feel knowing what happened 50 years ago?
Well, it gives us perspective. You know, it's tough having another tornado on the anniversary of that 74, but having been here when a tornado hit my dad's hometown and we lost even more people in 2021 than we did in 74, we can be really thankful that today we've only had that one tragic loss total from what were really two different weather systems and this many tornadoes across the state. Again, being weather aware and everybody working together on that is so important, and that's what I credit to us being here today, talking about time for rebuilding, but only having that one funeral.
We have time for one more question.
Is there any running count so far of the number of buildings that have suffered damage here in Jefferson County?
Well, I'll turn it over for Jefferson County, because they're doing a really good job in how they map that, but that's going to be our challenge statewide. With so many different places hit, with this all being one major weather system in terms of FEMA, it's going to take us a while to get that full calculation. And then you've really got to get how much was each structure damaged. But what we saw in the very beginning is the tool that we have rolled out from emergency management in Frankfurt that they certainly grabbed a hold of in Jefferson County and use, as well as anyone that they've now been able to go to every single house and say not damaged, slightly damaged, significantly damaged, or what I would call totaled. They have a different term for that.
Yeah, let's see, right around now, we've probably touched around, around 1,165 structures, give or take a few, since we left out of here a little while ago. And actually, part of that touching, like the governor just mentioned, is that it actually gives us a damage assessment, you know, from no damage all the way up to total destruction. And basically, on a scale of 1 to 5, that's how the thing would work. And as of our press conference that we had this morning, we had roughly 950 that were totally untouched. And all the way at the bottom of that scale, we only had 5 that we would view as total destruction. So, and then the numbers fell in between all the way up and down. So, I mean, by the time we're done, we will have exact numbers of everything we touched in this area. And then we can track our personnel as well with that. It actually shows them walking and actually checking each building. And then we tag it on the app, and then we just keep moving on. And that's how we get some of that data. So.
And finally, just want to mention Judge Vogel from Oldham County was with us for the tour as well. Appreciate his communication and cooperation. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.